Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. In the spring of this year, my cousin had hurt his knee, so he asked me to replace him on his soccer team. So on Tuesday nights, I would play soccer. And I was chatting with some of the people on the team, sharing that my cousin is going to get married next year, and I will be officiating his vivaha. I'll get to be the pujari and speak out what is happening. And so he looks at me with closed eyes closely and says, "That means you're Hindu." And I went closer and I said, "Yes." He asked, "How come you have so many gods?" And I said, "Actually, we have 330 million to be exact." Why? Why so many gods? Because there's that many types of personalities. One god may not resonate with you or you, but it will resonate with you. By having 330 million, and 330 million is just a number for infinity. That there's that many different combinations of minds and intellects, and tamas and rajas and sattva. There's all of these rivers and lakes and bodies of water, but it's all simply water. It's all simply infinity. The theme for our retreat this year is it's not finding Vivek's path. It's not finding Shankara's path. It's finding your path. And the way to find your path is you have to be open to finding your path correct. If there's a path that's totally clear and I force a flashlight in your hand and say, "This is where you should go," but if you don't want to go, you're not going to find any path then. Yes? Find your path. We are very oriented towards outside paths, roads, planes, schedules. What do I have to do tomorrow? And it's done for us. We have a ticket agent. We have someone who manages our time. There's an alarm clock. But the path within yourself, the path to your divinity, no one can do that for you. Swami Chinmaya would say, "I'm not a mule guru. I'm not carrying anyone. I'll walk. If you want to follow, good. But I'm not going to carry you." This is difficult for a lot of us because we don't have this orientation of being dependable to ourselves, of traveling ourselves, of looking after ourselves. This is the beauty of this retreat being 4 days, that we may come in closed, but you have more time to be open. The path to Bhagwan is the highest path. It is called Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya. It is royal. And I shared with all of you, when it comes to subjective science, the highest also means the deepest. That's right, it is the deepest. A pujaka, in this case, babies, you. When you engage in puja, that's called idolizing. Who do your kids idolize? Taylor Swift, Michelle Obama, right? We idolize these people. My wife is reading Becoming. I think that's the name of the book by Michelle Obama. She makes me read so many pages. I like it. I don't idolize Michelle Obama. But there are people who do that, right? That's a form of puja. You idolize. The pujaka engages in puja and reaches the puja. That is called internalizing, where whatever you are idolizing is now become part of you. If one keeps on observing the behaviors of even, let's say, a bully, and slowly I exhibit those behaviors also. Internalizing. This path is the highest, this path is the deepest. Pujaka, puja, you will find puja. Insight is a catalyst to bhava. Just like we shared, jnana helps with bhakti, correct? When you know about a subject, it becomes closer to you. Like, if you watch a movie where you don't understand the language, can you ever really appreciate that movie? No. Even with Swami Chinmaya, though we learned Advaita Vedanta in English, he naturally speaks Hindi better. So when we were living in Mumbai, he often would break it to Hindi, and I could feel how much more natural he was, and how much more succinct the message was. And as a professional Hindi speaker also, I'm not at all. There's a joy that comes with that shared connection, correct? So insight is a catalyst to bhava. When we know about the puja and even the pujaka, you start to have this bhava. Bhava is very important, especially today when we share so many times that we're busy. And busy is a form of but, isn't it? B-U-T. I'm busy, but when you have bhava, then you don't feel busy. Imagine the benefit of that, never feeling busy. Imagine never using the word but rather embracing your responsibilities. And all that has to happen is a change in one's vision. Okay? There are three facets to a puja. Facet number one is facet. Purva, Mukhya, Uttara. Yes, three facets? Yes. The beginning, the during, and the end. Pre-brief, brief, debrief. Three facets. In the pre-brief, in the beginning, there are also three parts to the Purva Puja. Those three steps are prepare, purify, protect. Then my Purva Puja is complete. We're all in sync with each other? Please try to create a graph. You're expecting me to create your PowerPoint presentation, but I'm not going to. I'm going to speak it, and if you want it, you will create it, correct? And if you don't, you won't create it. But I will only speak it. I feel we look at screens enough, which is why I don't use technology when I teach. At many of the hospitals I speak at, the people ask me, please submit your presentation. And I just write back, peace. And they say, well, I think there's an error in your communication. I'm just going to speak. I don't need anything. And it's very refreshing to a lot of those physicians because they're so used to seeing these presentations about these compounds and these prescriptions and so on. So here too, I'm consciously just speaking out how this puja works. So three facets, the three parts to the Purva Puja. Once that's checked off, we can move to the Mukhya Puja. The Mukhya Puja begins with invite. After protect is invite. First you invite with words, then you invite with thoughts, and then you combine them. So the first part of the invite is your sankalpa. You know, where we put our hands like this and we start sharing. Shri Parameshwara Prityartha. Why am I engaged? Why am I inviting you? Not for me, but for you. Again, very different than what we're used to, correct? We invite people for us. But here we're inviting you for your pleasure. Sankalpa. After Sankalpa is Dhyana. This we invested a lot of time in yesterday. Let's chant our Dhyana Shloka together. It's popularly known as Mahamrityunjaya Mantra, but the original name is Rudra Mantra. This mantra is about enlightenment. This mantra is not about helping people become healthy. That's what a gym is for. That's what cookbooks are for. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarugamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Sankalpa we invite with our words, Dhyana we invite with our thoughts, and then finally is Avahayami. Show me Avahayami again. Like this. Left hand on your heart, right hand is, you're touching the icon. And if the icon is far, again, this is your own bhava, right? When you see a photograph, this is not who Swami Tejamananda is, but we still have that bhava, right? We still offer arti to this plastic and wood. With this, we can now begin Shiva Manasa Puja. It only took us 2.5 days. Bhagwan Acharya Shankara has invited Bhagwan Shiva, and he has accepted the invitation. So now we begin with our welcome. Okay? Part 5 is welcome. Please be with me. What was part 1? Part 1 was prepare. 2, purify. 3, protect. 4, invite. If the invitation is accepted, which it is, comes the welcome. Welcome is the next part of this puja. Yeah? Okay. Within these parts, there's a whole lot of steps. We're simplifying. If you think this is complex, we've not made this complex yet. Please repeat after me. Ratnai kalpitam asanam himachalai snanam cha divyambaram.
Ratnai kalpitam asanam himachalai snanam cha vidyambaram.
Nana ratna vibhushitam mrigamadamodam chandanam.
Nana ratna vibhushitam mrigamadamodam chandanam.
Jati champaka bilva patra rachitam pushpam cha dhupam tatha.
Jati champaka bilva patra rachitam pushpam cha dhupam tatha.
Deepam devadanide pashupate hritkalpitam grihyatam.
Deepam devadanide pashupate hritkalpitam grihyatam.
You sound lovely. What a beautiful rhythm to Shiva Manasa Puja. To understand this, we have to move backwards. We start with grihyatam. Grihyatam means hold. Hold. So here we're saying to Bhagwan Shiva, hold, and naturally what I'm going to be offering to. Correct? The subjective meaning of grihyatam is you feel that God is real. If someone, imagine you have a make-believe friend. Will you tell your make-believe friend to hold your watch? To hold your passport? You won't, correct? saying whole. So already you have this feeling of reality. That bhava is already started. Hrit kalpita. Hrit means heart. Kalpita means thoughts. The subjective meaning of this is what is sincere. Sometimes when we're speaking to people, we say, honestly speaking. Which is such a useless phrase. What were you saying until then, right? But it implies sincerity, right? I'm trying to be more sincere. So hit kalpitam is showing, I'm open-hearted right now. I'm not hiding any matters. You are Pashupate. You are Pashupati. You're the Lord of all Pashus. What does Pashu mean? Animals. And this is a very cool word. Pashu comes from those who engage in Pashyati. Pashyati means deceive. Those who only live by their senses are known as animals. So, the subjective meaning of this is that, that's why this word Pashupati is consciously used, is that we live by our senses too, isn't it? So there's an honesty that's being shared here. That I'm an indulgent person, that I think everything I hear is real. There's no such thing as fake news. Everything is real. So Pashupati, there is honesty. Dayanidhi. You are the treasure house of Daya. Daya means compassion. The word Daya, cheese, came from Daya. The subjective meaning of this is, who do you ask compassion from? Who do you ask compassion from? And maybe a better question is, why do you ask for compassion? Why do you ask for compassion? Because you feel you don't deserve it, correct? That's why we say be compassionate. If I'm an offender and I go to the judge and I say be compassionate, I'm saying I don't deserve this, so please look out for me. Be gracious. Again, these choice words, these are not just rhythmic words. It's saying that I don't deserve you to hold on to what I'm going to offer. I know that, but you are special. You're close to me. So close that I call you Deva. When I say Devi, show me where Devi is. Where's Devi? Yes, because we've hammered it into you for so long. When we ask people, where's God, they point here. Point to yourself. There's more God in you. You are more sattvic than the marble. Really, technically speaking, materials are tamasic. Marble, chair, carpet. You are more an embodiment of God than any murtis. Here's where Deva is. You are within. Okay? A lot of content in just one line. So now Shiva is wondering, what is it that you want me to hold? What do you want me to accept? Ratnai kalpitam asana. So these three words are describing asana. Asana. Now what kind of asana are we offering? What kind of seat? A hotel tower, sit. We're offering a throne. Like even sitting on those chairs, I feel pretty special, right? They're so big, I can cross my legs. We're offering you a throne that's decked with jewels. Totally covered in jewels. Like the thrones you see on Lord of the Rings. It's like that, but much more. Now subjectively, we always chant, Raja di Rajaya Prasaya Sahine, which means you are the king or leader of all kings. You're the leader of all leaders. If the president came into this ashram right now, who would come with the president? Secret Service. And wherever the president goes, the Secret Service has to keep him or her, right? Because you become the president based on yesterday, I think, correct?
Yes.
subjectively this means is we're making Bhagavan Shiva our priority. Making God the most important in your life. To keep him in your radar. Okay? Otherwise we just treat this like a story. Subjectify this. Those who sit on the throne, everyone has to get up for them, correct? They're the priority. Hima Jalaihi Snana. We are offering water for you to bathe. And this water, what temperature is this water? What does Hima mean? It means snow water. You know, you can buy glacial water. This is snow that is melted, and this is the water that's being offered from Bhagavan Shiva to bathe. That's why he's turned white. And then blue. So here snana is covered, right? We know these traditional steps. It's snana. So subjective. Do any of you take cold showers? We all just go, cold shower. When you were growing up, I'm sure there was a good chance you didn't have a choice but to take a cold shower, right? So when you took a cold shower back in the day, centuries ago, that was called titiksha. Now if you take a cold shower, it would be called tapa. That's right. Tapa is voluntary discipline. You're voluntarily engaged in this. And if you train yourself voluntarily, when you're forced to be in that situation involuntarily, you can endure that, correct? Tapa means burning, titiksha means enduring. So when I engage in tapa, as in I burn my comfort zones, then I can endure anything. When people like me, people don't like me, I'm by myself, I'm with lots of people, I can play for 2 hours without stopping to take a drink and eat oranges. So subjectively, the snana that we're offering, we're not offering water. We are saying we will engage in tapa. You bathe in cold water, I will bathe in cold water. Then if we have to walk in the rain, we should do that right now. We'll be fine. Next. Divyambaram Nana Ratna Vibhushitam. This is all Vastra. Vastra has now been offered. So for asana, snana, and Vastra. You're seated, you've bathed, and now we're offering clothing. The clothing that is being offered is divya, it's shiny. Why is it shiny? Because this also is made of jewels. Like a silk sari. A silk sari shines more than a cotton sari, correct? It's more jewel-like. And then if you put fake glass mirrors, like a Gujarati lehenga, then it shines even more, correct? Now there's so much in this puja which is actually not in resonance with how Bhagavan Shiva lives. And that's why I keep going back to the subjective meaning. Because this is not an objective puja. It's not. Usually, when you remember Bhagavan Shiva, what is he wearing? He's wearing a tiger skin. This was a tiger that has naturally fallen in the jungle. And it's leather, so it's warm. So he just wears that. And even more subtly, what does he wear? He's known as Digambara. Dig actually means dik, D-I-K, which means space. What does he wear? Nothing. He wears space, which means he wears no clothing because he has no gender. He has no sexuality. That's all body and mind. He's not the body and mind. That's why you see when Mother Parvati is sitting on his lap, that is who he is. There's no lust there. She is half of him, he is half of her. This half means nothing. It's just for us. So Bhagavan Shiva here, he wears space which shows that we should practice being comfortable in our own skin. How's the no makeup going? Who are you wearing makeup for? Try. You have one more tomorrow, so many people are going to come. You're going to say they'll all see you. If they don't like you for who you are without your makeup on, then that's really indicative of them, not you. The tiger skin, and he's often wearing an elephant skin, he's wearing snakes and ashes. It shows viraga. Viraga means he doesn't live by his likes. Raga means likes, viraga means? Viraga doesn't mean dislikes. It means he's not succumbing to likes, which also means he doesn't succumb to dislikes. In a very simple way. On Wednesdays, I teach a kids class called Happy Hour. Okay, this is the original happy hour. Then there's a fake happy hour also. And with the older class, I often bring up name brands. I recently shared with them Old Navy, The Gap, and Banana Republic are the same company. And all of those kids are like, whoa. Like I just told them Tato Masi. But they pay so much more for the BR versus the ON, correct? And it's so fascinating. Old Navy will have a huge writing that BR is just a logo. Nobody even knows other than you. Your credit card knows only. So Bhagavan Shiva is someone, he's not into name brands. He's into simple living. And this Vibhushitam reminds me of the word Suvesha. Where have you heard the word Suvesha? In Hanuman Chalisa. That Hanumanji, everything he wears well. He wears well, and he wears it well not because of the clothing. He makes that clothing beautiful. Because he's beautiful, correct? Technically, he's a hairy monkey. Right? Technically, he's not beautiful. But when someone's so cheerful and dynamic and tireless, you're in awe of them. You just can't stop looking at them. Anything they wear is attractive. Bhagavan Shiva is like that too, and we should be like that too. Vastra chant. Mriga, Mada, Amoda, Ankitam, Chanda. Don't get lost in the Sanskrit, okay? I'm just saying it out. If you can keep track, good. If you can't keep track, also. What is Chandana? Chandana is, it's now become known as sandalwood paste. Here, this paste is made up of Ankitam. Ankitam means a point or a dot. Of Amoda. Amoda is very fragrant. Mriga Mada, it's an excretion from a male deer that attracts a female deer. In simple English, we call it musk. Musk. To make real musk, the deer needs to be killed. It comes from a gland near the abdomen. So are we saying that Bhagavan Shiva did this or we should do this? Definitely not. He lives in the jungle where there will be deer all over the place. Obviously that should be used then. And now most of the musk is synthetic. Okay? So a lot of life science is being taught through puja. Okay, now subjective. What does this all mean? Back in the day, right now if someone has an eczema or eczema, what do people put on their skin? Cream. Go more natural than cream. Aloe, correct? They use aloe vera. I think that's how you pronounce it. Now this is not so readily available, so what did people use back in the day traditionally in Bharat? Coconut oil. Go back. Sometimes that inflames more. You use sandalwood paste. You use chandan. Chandan is a cooling agent. If you have a sunburn, you put chandan on. So subjectively, the chandan that is being offered, we are not giving Bhagavan Shiva sandalwood paste. We are showing we will work on having a cool mind. A cool mind. A cool mind means you cannot, what rage do you have to give up? Yes, and road rage specifically. I was talking to one of our Devis who's moved from New York State to Texas. And in Texas, you can carry a weapon. And one of the first pieces of advice that she was given was, don't get into any confrontation with anyone because you just don't know when that weapon potentially could be used. Correct? So a cool mind. We will offer a cool mind. We will offer Shama. And if I have a cool mind, what's so lovely is that I will become captivated. Like this musk that attracts female tears in a technical sense, those who have a cool mind are so captivating. And sometimes this musk is used for medicinal properties also. You will not just be captivating, you will be curing. When you're around people who exhibit a lot of stress, how do you feel? You feel stressed just looking at them, right? You look at their eyes and you just want to look away. Like right now. But when you see someone who's so shanta, correct? You feel shanta. Today on social media, I posted a rad from Shri. And the rad essentially is, the only way to control the flow of thoughts is to not be interested in them. As long as you're interested in your thoughts, they will come. When you're not interested in your thoughts, they will stop. Shri Ramana was really this China. He was beyond his mind, correct? So millions would come to just be there. And they would come with their problems, and as soon as they were in his presence, what happened to those problems? What problems? All of that is being shared. That this is what we can offer to Baba. Now hear me clearly. If you're living like this, you are actually becoming like Baba. Isn't it? This is how Baba is. These are our sadhanas. This is our path. Finding your path, take one of these offerings. Vastra. What did I learn in this retreat? Vastra. That I will engage in simple living and high faith. Jati champaka bilva patra rachitam pushpa. Now we're offering pushpa. After chandana is pushpa. Jati champaka bilva, there are types of flowers and leaves. Okay? There was a bilva patra here. This is bilva? Yes? So this is a bilva patra. In our Vedic arti, we say the pushpas that are offered are mantras. We call it mantra pushpa, correct? What does mantra or mantra mean? What does it mean? Manana trayate iti mantra. Now let's open these words up. Mananat means reflect. What is the most significant weakness of a typical seeker? They listen lots and think little. Shravanam, huge check mark. Mananam is like a small squiggly line. We don't know if it's a check mark or an S. Trayate. Trayate means to transcend. A mantra, when reflected upon, helps one to transcend the mind. This is no different than yoga. In the second sutra of the Yoga Sutras, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What we think of yoga is laughable. Yoga is transcending, that's Nirodha, Chitta, thoughts. Sorry, Vrittis. And where are these thoughts? Chitta, in the mind. That's what yoga is. Transcending the thoughts of the mind is yoga. So here too, when a mantra is given to us, in this case, one shloka, you reflect on this, you will watch how your mind will start to listen to the intellect. That's how you start to transcend the mind. When Arjuna starts to follow Bhagavan Krishna, that's transcending the mind. This is what we are to offer to Bhagavan, to offer to our selves. And we complete the shloka with dhupa and deepa. Show me dhupa. Dhupa is because most of the dhupa is that thick black concoction that's so strong, right? What's fascinating about dhupa, or incense, it starts off solid and then it becomes gaseous, essentially. From solid to gas, there's a conversion that takes place, correct? A physical conversion. What is the conversion that I've talked about repeatedly the last 3 days? What do we have to convert? Values to virtues. Exactly. Values are in a book. It's solid. I can read it. I can touch it. When I practice them, they become part of me. It's subtler, correct? It's causal. So when you burn dhupa, this is an icon. It's a reminder for me to practice whatever values I know about. And finally, deepa. Deepa means light. What is the mantra that we've been chanting each night thus far? Tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto ayam agni ayam kuto ayam kutaha agni. This is a long mantra, it's a detailed mantra, but essentially what is being shared is the fire that I have in my hand, the Arti Kali. What is this fire in comparison to awareness? It is chit or awareness that allows me to know this fire, and if I'm not aware, there's no fire, correct? There's a Devi I know, and this is a really rough circumstance that happened to her. She had some dental work done, so they froze her mouth. And essentially her tongue was frozen too. And she didn't realize she was biting down on her tongue. And so she had to really go into the hospital for a serious surgery because it just happens, right? But I know, because I'm conscious right now, I experienced the pain of my teeth and my tongue. She didn't, unfortunately. So now extrapolating this is that, what is this fire if there's no awareness? It is because of this awareness that there is a fire and lightning and stars and moon and sun. So what are you offering? Are you offering fire? Or are you offering being more careful, more vigilant, forgetting your keys less, remembering people's names more? That's what vigilance is, isn't it? Not dropping coffee. If I'm a careless person, I will drop things more, I will forget things more, I will lose things more. But if I'm offering this subjectively, manasa, that means I have to be more careful. I have to be more vigilant. Is this the Shiva Manasa Puja you knew? Let's chant this shloka together. Together. 1, 2, 3.
Ratnai kalpitamasanam himajalai snanam cha divyambaram nanaratna vibhushitam mrigamada mudankitam chandanam jati champaka bilva patra rachitam pushpam cha dhupam tata deepam devadayani deva shupate
in the next shloka, we will cover this. We have our least favorite and favorite parts of the puja. Before I tell you, can we turn the fans on, please? You may think it's cold, but I'm from a really cold part of North America. What is one of our least favorite parts of puja? All of them. It was actually shared yesterday night. That's Shri, correct? And what is our favorite, definitively factual favorite part? Naivedya. So in this shloka we cover dakshina and Naivedya. So we'll start with the hard part and then get to the easy part. Please repeat after me. Sauvarne navaratna khanda rachite patre gritam payasam.
Sauvarne navaratna khanda rachite patre gritam payasam.
Bhaksham panchavidam vayodhadiyutam brahma phalam panakam.
Bhaksham panchavidam vayodhadiyutam brahma phalam panakam.
Shakhanam ayutam jalam ruchikaram karpura khandojvalam.
Shakhanam ayutam jalam ruchikaram karpura khandojvalam.
Tambulam manasamaya virachitam bhaktya prabho svikuru.
Tambulam manasamaya virachitam bhaktya prabho svikuru.
Svikuru. We again move backwards. Svikuru means this is yours. Svikuru, this is yours. Svi like swa. Guru means take yours. Swikuru. And this is connected to the previous word. Prabhu. Prabhu means? Lord. Give me some more words. What does Prabhu mean?
Master.
Owner.
Looking for the best word.
Owner.
Creator. Creator. Now see the connection. Everything that we've offered already, who created it? He is the one who created it, correct? And that's why we say Swikuru. Please take what's already yours. That's why that choice word is used. Prabhu, Swikuru. Take what's already yours. Manasa, Maya, Virachitam, Bhaktya. These all go together. This is, I understand that this is all yours already externally, and now I'm remembering and appreciating that internally, hence I'm offering Manasa. It's like, suppose you meet someone who's adamant that they're right, and someone else comes and says, actually, this is what had happened. That person who was adamant that they're right, what happens to them? They become quiet then, correct? They become quiet. If they're strong, they'll say, I'm sorry. If they're not strong, inside at least they'll say, I was wrong. You were right, correct? So here this bhakti is the understanding that I know that my arrogance has no place. That in all that has happened in my life, this is already yours. So I'm offering mentally. So what am I offering now? Sauvarne navaratna khanda rachite patre. I am offering patra. Patra means vessels. And these vessels are made up of gold and jewels. You've heard me share this before. I saw an image of Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps is perhaps the most celebrated Olympic athlete. He had all of his gold and silver and bronze medals, and he was wearing them all. There have been 20 medals there. And underneath, there's a photograph of an Indian wedding, and it said, "We have more gold." Isn't it fascinating? Bhagwan Shiva's clothes have jewel, his seat has jewel, his vessels that he eats out of have jewels in it. What does this mean subjectively? Really, what does Bhagwan Shiva eat out of? Out of, what is it called? You see him, Annapurneshwari is giving him food in what? A kamandal. It's called a kamandal. A kamandal is a dried out, remember? Uru, aruka, iva. All of those vegetables, pumpkin, gourd, it's a dried out vegetable. like a pumpkin, right? Halloween is coming, you can put lots of stuff in it. So he walks around with kamanda. Now imagine how simple that vessel would be. And now, suppose there's lunch. So there's chana, there's raita. Today I think there's paneer. Now if there's one slot, where is it all going? Into that mixture, correct? We all want our section plates. So what is it that we're offering? Subjectively, we have to simplify how we live so we can be generous for the Creator and the Creator's work. That's the message here. So many thoughts on this, so I'll give you a life story. I was in a big American city speaking to the president of the mandir of the city. And they were going through a huge expansion. I think it was $7 million, like really big thing. And when he was talking to me, he looked quite depressed. I said, what can I do for you? And he was talking about how little donations they received. And I stated, imagine every person who came to this mandir gave 10% of their gross income. Like many other religions do, Christianity and Islam, it goes straight from check to church. And he was looking down as I was speaking, like physically, he was low. And he looked up at me, almost like a little sad kid. You know, imagine I tell Vyasa, no more ice cream. And he'd look up. And he goes, if every person who came to this mandir gave 1% of their gross income, we wouldn't have to have a fundraiser. See our externalization. We should eat out of these vessels, and he should eat out of that kamanda. This puja is teaching us if you want to be a Devi, one wants to be God, you have to switch those around. I should be so almost conjuice. What does conjuice mean? I should be miserly with myself so I can be generous with others. I should be hard on myself so I can be compassionate with others. We expect the exact opposite. That's a subjectification of dakshina. Which is why the first message always is the best dakshina is be God. Live the teachings, be God. Correct? And one more thing, okay? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Devi Shatarupa and Deva Manu, they have two grandkids who are incarnations of Bhagavan Narayana and Bhagavati Lakshmi. Do you know what their names are? Yajna and Dakshina. The son's name is Yajna and the daughter's name is Dakshina. And it's so lovely that wherever there's Yajna, there has to be Dakshina. And if Dakshina is there, there has to be Yajna. Such consistency and depth in every one of our scriptures. And if you read this, these details are most transformative. If we see Ramayana, Bhagavatam, Manasa Puja, there is no variation in message. There are no other options. So Dakshina. And now we'll complete today's morning's discourse with prasad. It's not even 10 o'clock, but why not? There are a whole lot of details here, and I'm just going to try to give you a framework for all of this, okay? So we begin with Naivedya is what I give, and once I give this, once I offer this, this is transformed into prasad. That's what I get. Now, why do you think there's 2.5 lines that are focused on Naivedya? Because divinity is in the details. The typical university or college student, what does their spice rack look like? Frank's Red Hot, Shri Raja, Himalayan salt, table salt. Now when I see Sheila's spice rack, I don't know what any of that is. But at least there's labels, right? Sheila's label. This is this, this is this. With my mother's arrangement, it's like a palette. You know, the things are mixed here, and this is over here. There's 10 yellows. That's the beauty of that taste. I'm so accustomed to just hot sauce, right? Living in university, and I'm just a useless person when it comes to cuisine. So my point there is that I could never create that. I could never offer that. Because I don't believe in those details when it comes to cooking. But anyone who loves or enjoys cooking, that comes from those details, isn't it? Even in this retreat, on your tables, it's not just a plastic table, there's a flower vase there with a quote. Please read this quote. Everyone gets to sit with various teachers. Those details make this so special. The Disney cruises, why do people go on? The details about the pillowcases, how you come in and you're given a hat and so on, correct? Not that I can afford it, but I'm told. That's what happens. So understand that there's divinity in details. And the more divinely you give, the more divinely you hear. I'm not saying yet, you feel. You're not going to get anything from outside. You'll feel this from inside. So what are some of these details? Pancha Vidham. In our culture, there's 5 textures of food. Okay? This is just for your own cultural enjoyment. And those 5 textures of food, all of these textures have to be in a meal for a meal to be complete. They are chewing, that's a given. Licking. Licking is like pickle. Sucking. Sucking would be maybe a piece of lemon. Then swallowing. Swallowing, I don't really know, like, sure, whatever you swallow. See, and I don't even know what example to think of with any of this. And drinking. The 5th is drinking, okay? Chewing, licking, sucking, swallowing, drinking. So now you all feel very content. Divya Shakti retreat, 7th year in a row. On Sunday night, if for whatever reason your responsibility is preparing dinner for everyone, you try to incorporate these 5. Okay? So you give a muffin, a lollipop, a vitamin, and a juice box. There. Done. Panchavidham. Then what is also shared is payasam. And what is in payasam is shared. There's typically 5 ingredients in payasam. Those 5 ingredients are milk, yogurt or curd or dahi, butter or ghee, bananas. Now we have alternatives like dates, and cane juice or cane sugar. We have Splenda, stevia, lots of variation. So this is what payasam is made of, okay? It's very different than ice cream, isn't it? The refinement of getting cane juice. You have to put in a lot of effort to get cane juice. But he's worth it. You are worth it. We do that for, suppose you go to a charter school. Suppose someone is willing to sit on a bus for an hour to learn that special class, correct? We do that for information. Shouldn't we do the same for knowledge? Then vegetables are mentioned. Shaka. What kind of shaka? Ayuta. Means countless. If you go to a farmer's market, all of those vegetables would be bought and offered. Not just frozen peas, peas, carrots, and corn, right? Green giant, you get that frozen vegetables.
Beans.
Farmer's market is offered. Okay, so that's all fine. After that we offer jala. Jala means water. There's so many cultural nuances. I'm told that while you eat, you shouldn't drink anything cold. You shouldn't drink anything. Because it's called the digestive fire. It's hot. That's what digests that food. Like it purifies too. Like boiling water. You use that for cleaning an infant's bottles. So the jala is given afterwards. Now that you're done, then the drinking comes too, correct? We went through that sequence. So what kind of water? I only drink Fiji water. The water that we offer is ujjwala, which means it is clean. Clean means no chlorine. Then karpura, which means it's fragrant. Water can be fragrant, like I find water in Florida smells differently than it does in Ontario, right? We have many Great Lakes right there. It is factually different. Okay, don't take it in an insulting way. Canada has the most fresh water in the entire world, right? That's fresh water. It is fragrant. And then ruchi, which means it's sweet. And this is very contradictory because we think that water doesn't have a taste, there's no calories. But yesterday when you sat down and finally drank your water, was it not sweet water? It wasn't vitamin water, it wasn't Gatorade, it was just sweet water. And that just comes with bhava, I guess. Okay, so the water that is offered is clean and fragrant and tasty. So we've given jala. This is all still part of Naivedya. And we finally offer, after jala, tambula. What does tambula look like? Tambula is essentially a leaf. And the point here is that it's natural. Sometimes when Vyasa sees us chewing gum, he'll say, want it, meaning he wants it. And we don't give it to him. He'll obviously just ingest it. Why should there be many ingredients to gum? Correct? There's so many ingredients to just chewing gum. Tambula is so natural. Like here, even at our meals, we're giving jeera, correct? These are mouth fresheners. So much of culture here that you're going to speak to someone. Make sure you brush your teeth a few times a day. Make sure you have this mouth freshener. Those are those details. Okay? So Dakshina and Naivedya. Dakshina you keep. Naivedya is coming. Back as prasad. Let's chant this together. And then I'll revisit our framework, okay? Sauvarne navaratna khandarachite patre kritam payasam aksham panchavidam payodhariyutam brahmaparam panakam shakanam ayutam jalam ruchikaram karpura khandojvalam tambulam manasa maya virachitam bhaktya prabho svikuru. Some completing thoughts. What we are learning is called puja vidhi. What is the English word for vidhi?
Procedure.
Process, procedure, dues, guidelines. If this were cooking, vidhi would be called a recipe. For those who are beginners, a recipe is needed. For those who are just learning how to drive, they go through a mental checklist, right? Look here, then look here, then look here. For those who are experienced drivers, right, we barely use our hands. Now we drive the cars without using our hands. Right? And this is where I insert the word bhava here. Once you have bhava, suppose you offer Naivedya, then you go back to Vastra, and then you skip everything else. Does Bhagavan care? He just wants our feeling. He just wants us to find that path to Him. In love, there are no rules. Rules are only needed where there's no love. And where there's love, no rules. Sheila speaks to me and I speak to her. If you ever heard us, you'd think that we're having problems in our marriage. But we love each other, so those rules about we have to formally say, Sheila, can you get this for me? Or can I do this for you? We don't talk like that, unless we're mad at each other. Right? Those rules don't apply. But you're not in that type of love, meaning between my wife and I. So that's why it's, how are you raising these kids? But where there's love, there is no rules. When Vyasa is eating, and imagine he's eating a snow pea, and he's taken out 2 of the peas, and then he'll look to me and say, "Want?" And it's so dirty. His hands are so dirty, it's already been in his mouth 3 times. Well, clean it first, then I'll eat it. Right? There's love, so there's no rules, of course. If Sheila did it, please clean it 3 times, and give it to me. So bhava. We feel overwhelmed because that bhava is not there, but if that bhava is there, what? You're overwhelmed in happiness and security. Finding your path, us studying Shiva Manasa Puja, is this guideline. And if there's a guideline, a guide is needed. Our guide is Acharya Shankara. What a practitioner of Sanatana Dharma. He's a champion of Advaita Vedanta. And so when he's teaching us this, who are we to believe otherwise? Isn't it? Like if the Surgeon General says, don't eat this or do eat this, right? Typically we don't question that. That person has a team of researchers and scientists and physicians that have stated this. This is much more deep and comprehensive, our Acharya Shankara. There are 3 factors when it comes to your path. What is factor number 1? Factor. Puja. Factor 2?
Puja.
Puja. Factor 3? Pujaka. I'm on the bottom, Puja's on top. There are 3 facets. I'm choosing the word facet to a puja. This is called the Purva. Then Mukhya. Then Uttara. Very good. In the Purva, what are the 3 steps that we've explored? Prepare, protect, purify. Excellent. In these steps, there's tons of other steps. I'm only giving you the broad part. Okay, the broad step. Just like in a half marathon, there's also the warm-up, correct? But you don't call it, I did the warm-up at the half marathon. When you take a flight, there's so much of other factors that go into that. In the Mukhya Puja, what are the 3, what is the first step in the Mukhya Puja? Invite. Within invite, we studied 3 today. It is starting with your Sankalpa. Then Dhyana. Good. And finally, Avahayam. That's when the puja's begun. Okay? The puja's begun with all of that. After invite comes welcome. For welcome we offer asana. After welcome comes comfort. After welcome is comfort, and we have offered snana, vastra, chandana, pushpa. Thus far we've offered that. After comfort is give. In give we've offered dhupa, deepa, dakshina, and naivedya. Okay? We'll go back to this again. It's all fine. Whatever you got. Think about it. We'll go back to this again. In our next discourse, we're going to shift to the 8th part, 8th step in a puja, which is called praise. Praise. And this is where we offer upachara. So much of the upachara that happens here, I'll explain all of that upachara.